Hi everyone, welcome back to Frugal Watch Box. What I have here is the Casio A168, a digital watch that has stood the test of time, both literally and stylistically. This thing oozes nostalgia with its classic square case, polished silver tone finish, and that unmistakable retro charm. It looks like something straight out of the 80s, yet it still fits perfectly in today's world. Whether you're rocking jeans and a t-shirt or dressing up a bit, the A168 just works. It's got that old-school cool factor that never goes out of style. I picked this up last year for about $21, and since then it has seen plenty of wrist time. For a few months, it was my go-to daily driver, whether I was running errands, working at my desk, or just lounging around. Over time, it has picked up a few tiny scratches which, honestly, just give it more character. A well-worn watch tells a story, right? Now let's talk about why I love this watch. First off, the design. That mix of retro and functional is just too good. But what really makes it special? The electro-luminescence backlight. With a simple push of a button, the screen glows a satisfying blue-green, making it easy to read in the dark. And let's not forget the colorful imprints around the dial. White, gold, orange, and blue, giving it just the right amount of playful charm without being over the top. Plus, you get all the classic Casio features: alarm, stopwatch, and that satisfying digital beep. I'll be comparing the Casio A168 with Skmei's take on it. The Skmei 1647, which comes with a negative display. Basically, we're going to see just how well Skmei has copied the A168. Did they nail it or just phone it in? Let's find out. First, let's unpack the watch from its plastic pouch. Nothing fancy here, just a simple wrap. But hey, at least the watch is intact, so that's a win. Now let's get rid of the old-school Skmei watch tag and jump straight into the documentation. The manual? Just one single page, straight to the point. It covers the features: operation manual, real-time display, daily alarm, chronograph, and time settings. Flip it over, and you'll find the Chinese version. It's a basic manual, but it gives you the essentials. That's part of how Skmei keeps this watch super affordable. Just $7. At first glance, the Skmei 1647 looks very similar to the A168. The case size? Pretty close. The thickness? Also close. Even the EL backlight is there. That's why I picked the A168 for this comparison. It matches up in size, shape, and features. But before we dive deeper into the review, let's check out the dimensions of the Casio A168. It has a case size of about 36.3 millimeters, a lug-to-lug distance of around 38.6 millimeters, a thickness of roughly 9.6 millimeters, a lug width of 18 millimeters, and a weight of just 50 grams, even with the stainless steel bracelet, making it light and comfortable for everyday wear. Now moving on to the case and dial. The case shape is square with rounded corners. Some might call it a cushion or tonneau-shaped case. It's compact and lightweight, perfect for everyday wear. There are only 3 buttons, one on the right and 2 on the left. The single button on the right toggles between start and stop, while the 2 on the left control the light and mode functions. As for the crystal, don't expect mineral glass here. It's just resin, which makes sense at this price point. Now let's talk about the dial design. There's a blue border, followed by a white line encircling the dial. The Casio logo sits prominently at the top, with a small alarm chrono imprint in gold. Below that, the electroluminescence text is in white on a blue background. Further down, you'll find the illuminator imprint in orange, followed by the water WR resist marking at the bottom. For the display panel, on the top left, you've got small indicators for the alarm and hourly chime. On the top right, there's an indicator for the date and day. The main display features the hour, minute, and second in large, easy-to-read digits. Next, we move on to the Skmei 1647. The case is made of zinc alloy with a chrome-plated finish, while the crystal is mineral glass. This is actually a step up from the Casio A168, which only has a resin case and crystal. So in terms of materials, the Skmei does have an edge. Now let's talk about the case dimensions. The case size is about 35.1 millimeters, making it a bit smaller than the A168. The lug-to-lug distance is approximately 38.3 millimeters, which means it's slightly slimmer than the Casio. The thickness is about 10.2 millimeters, making it 0.6 millimeters thicker than the A168, so a little chunkier. The lug width is 18 millimeters, the same as the Casio, so strap swap should be easy. The watch weighs 63 grams, 10 grams heavier than the A168, thanks to its metal case. You might feel that extra weight, but it also makes the watch feel a bit more solid. Now let's look at the buttons. Just like the A168, this watch has 3 buttons, which is a feature borrowed from Casio. The single button on the left controls start, just like on the A168. The 2 buttons on the right handle the light and mode, again, similar to Casio. Dial and display. The dial has a single silver border, with another one right in the center. The Skmei logo is prominently displayed at the top, while Water Resist and EL Luminous are printed at the bottom. Unlike the Casio, this one keeps things minimalistic, with no colorful imprints, just a clean black background. At the top of the display, you'll find indicators for the alarm and hourly time signal, followed by the day and date, just like the Casio. However, the digits here are slightly larger, making them easier to read. How's the display? The negative display can be a bit tricky to capture on camera, but in real life, it's clear enough. Viewing angles are better than most Skmei watches, and the screen looks sharp when viewed straight on. However, if you tilt it slightly to the left or right, it does get a little harder to read. Compared to the Casio, the difference in clarity and viewing angles is quite noticeable. The Casio is definitely the winner here, offering clear visibility even when tilting it from left to right. Now let's move back to the Casio A168. The stainless steel bracelet is the standard issue for Casio's Retro Classic series. It feels a bit cheap, but hey, what do you expect from a budget-friendly watch? At least the clasp has the Casio logo, which gives it a bit of authenticity. If you're not a fan of the bracelet, no worries. You can always swap it out for an aftermarket strap. Leather, stainless steel, or even rubber if you want to mix things up. Flipping it over, the stainless steel case back has all the usual engravings. The Casio logo, module and model numbers, and other details that tell you it's the real deal. Now, over to the Skmei 1647. The Skmei's bracelet is almost identical to the Casio's. It's stainless steel too, and surprisingly, the quality feels on par with Casio, even though the Skmei costs just a fraction of the price. There's one small drawback though. No Skmei logo on the clasp. Not a deal breaker, but a little branding wouldn't hurt. Flipping it over, the Skmei 1647 stainless steel case back has the Skmei logo in the center, along with the water resistance rating of 3 ATM, the battery code number, the model number, and other details. Next, let's talk about the features. First up, the Casio A168. This watch comes with a 1/100 second stopwatch, capable of measuring up to 59 minutes and 59.99 seconds. It includes elapsed time, split time, and even first and second place measurements, just in case you're timing a very specific race. It also has a daily alarm, an hourly time signal, and an electroluminescent EL backlight that glows in a cool blue-green color. The auto calendar takes care of February's short 28 days, and it stays accurate within plus or minus 30 seconds per month. Other features? A 12/24-hour format and your standard digital timekeeping, showing the hour, minute, second, PM indicator, date, and day. Now on to the Skmei 1647. This one comes with a 13-digit LCD display. Yes, 13 digits. Fancy, right? Showing the hour, minute, second, month, day, and even the week. It also includes a daily alarm, an hourly chime, a 12-24-hour format, an auto calendar, and a 1/100-second chronograph with split time. Plus, it has an EL backlight that lasts a solid 3 seconds. Just enough time to check the time dramatically in the dark. Now let's talk about alarm sounds. First, the Casio A168. The alarm is decent, clear, loud, and should wake you up unless you're a really deep sleeper. Next, the Skmei. Similar to the Casio, but a bit on the higher pitch side. It's clear, loud, and maybe even a little sharper, possibly enough to make you jump out of bed. Now, let's take a look at the EL backlight on both watches. First up, the Casio A168. The illumination is pretty solid. Its bluish EL backlight spreads evenly across the display, making it easy to read the time, even in total darkness. The digits stand out clearly without any glare or shadows. Simple, effective, and no nonsense. Now the Skmei 1647. This one has a bright green EL backlight, which is actually a bit stronger than the Casio's. It lights up the screen nicely, making the numbers pop. However, there's a little catch. You can still faintly see some of the background digits when the light is on. It's not a deal breaker, but it does give the display a bit of a ghosting effect. Still, overall, it does the job well. On the wrist, since both watches have a similar case size, they sit just right on my modest 6.5-inch wrist. They don't feel too bulky or too small. Just a nice, comfortable fit for everyday wear. Whether you have a wrist like mine or slightly bigger, these watches should wear well without looking awkward. Which one should you choose? If you're on a tight budget and just want a functional digital watch with good features, the Skmei 1647 is a solid pick. It gives you a bright backlight, a range of functions, and great affordability. But if you value originality, precision, and long-term quality, then the Casio A168 is the way to go. Casio has a strong reputation for durability and accuracy, and you're getting a classic design that has stood the test of time. Plus, no ghosting on the display. Final thoughts. So, that's a quick look at the EL backlights and wrist presence of these two watches. Both have their strengths, with the Casio offering a clean blue glow and the Skmei giving a brighter green light with a slight ghosting quirk. In terms of size, both fit comfortably on my wrist without any issues. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. See you in the next one. Bye for now.